Yeah, thanks for joining this morning. This is a short, sharp 20 minutes-ish webinar looking at how Synergist helps agencies unlock operational efficiency and hopefully drive profitable growth. Before we start, for those of you who haven't joined previous Agency Masters webinars, I'm Steve. I'm one of the co-founders here at the Agency Works, and I've been working with agencies for well over 20 years. So we know that running an agency has never felt more unpredictable. You're juggling new business, managing resources, keeping projects profitable, and we know it's a constant challenge. So this morning, I'm going to show you how you can replace crossed fingers with hopefully a bit more confidence. So we'll explore how to get full visibility over what's coming in, what's in progress, what's ready to invoice, so you can hopefully start to make some more proactive decisions. I'll show you how in Synergist we can spot resourcing issues before they happen and how to use real data, not guesswork, to plan capacity and make smart hiring decisions. We'll also look at how to stop profit leakage from overservicing by tracking time, budgets and deliverables in one place, and also how to turn timesheet data into powerful insights that inform pricing and resource allocation. We'll also look at having data to show you what's happening in real time, so you're not finding out about issues after the fact, but while there's still time to fix them. So while all that sounds good in practice, it's also nice to see that in reality. So here we have a quote from one of our clients. And this is from Nick Lovett, who's an MD of M3, who've seen firsthand the impact of bringing their data and projects into one system. So what changed for Nick's agencies? Well, they moved from spreadsheets and disjointed tools and guesswork to a system that was built specifically for agencies, one that gives them full visibility and control. And in today's session, hopefully, I can show you how go back to that slide. Show you how Synergist helps agencies like M3 improve commercial performance without burning out their teams. So that will include, so I've jumped on a slide here. Let's go back a second. That's better. So that will include building accurate connected forecasts by combining pipeline with live project progress and billing, seeing team capacity in real time, seeing utilization targets, which help you make more proactive resourcing decisions, tracking time, budget, and scope together to spot overruns early and take action before they start reducing your margins, going beyond basic time tracking, so using timesheet data to understand true profitability, improve pricing and boost efficiency. And then finally, access to live dashboards, instant insights into projects, finances and resources so that you're always in control and have hopefully no surprises. But before we start, for those who don't know, Synergist is the #1 agency management software trusted by over 500 agencies across the UK. And since 2003, we've been dedicated to creating a platform specifically designed for agencies like yours. It's highly customizable, making it a perfect fit, whether you're a creative agency, digital marketing, PR agency, or any other professional service business. So why do so many agencies choose Synergist? Well, typically, and this might be true for some of you, agencies often find themselves juggling multiple systems, whether that be spreadsheets for budgets, separate tools for briefs, sales pipelines, resourcing, project tracking, invoicing. We know that it becomes all very time consuming and disjointed. It also makes it hard to get a clear view of what's really going on across your business. So hopefully this is where Synergist comes in. It replaces all those disparate systems and brings everything together in one place, as you can see on the screen now. So from the initial brief and sales opportunity right the way through to project delivery and invoicing, Synergist gives you that seamless joined up workflow, which isn't just about saving time, it's about creating transparency, boosting efficiency and driving profitability. Okay, so I'm now going to switch across from the PowerPoint to my live demo. So just bear with me a second while I switch screens. Okay, so hopefully now you can see my Synergist system. And what I'm also going to do now is just turn off my camera as well, so I can see my screen better. Okay, so we're going to start with forecasting and we're going to start with sales pipeline. And the opportunity list is one of the most powerful but often overlooked areas in the system, because it isn't just about a standard sales pipeline showing potential revenue. It's far more useful than that. As you can see on my screen now, you have an option to link your opportunities directly to the estimated hours as well as the value. So as you build your pipeline, you're not just forecasting potential income, but you're also seeing the demand on your team's capacity. So that will hopefully allow you to answer questions like, if we were to win this work, so in my view, everything that's perhaps 75% and above, do we actually have the resources to deliver it? Or do we need to plan for more freelancers or actually even make more hires? So it gives you a much more forward-looking view of both sales and operational impact in one place. And because it's live, you can see immediately how new opportunities will impact and affect utilization across your teams before they land. I also get to see this view as well, visualized in the sales dashboard. So rather than looking at it in the list, I can see I've chosen to see here what is the quoted value that I have within each of the different pipeline statuses. It's worth pointing out that these pipeline stages are customizable and can be whatever you want them to be. I've also got the ability to filter this list as well, so I can look at that based on the weighted probability. I could look at it based on what we've quoted existing clients or prospects, and I can also show that as gross net value quoted, number of opportunities, and again, filtering by different stages. You'll also notice as well that we get to also forecast targets. Again, different options in Synergist for managing targets. They could be resource driven, perhaps in the client services team. They could be client driven, or they could be just targets set for your agency as a whole. Okay, so while it's great to see what's coming down the pipeline, I think what's just equally as important is understanding how your current jobs are performing. And this is where the job list becomes really useful. So this gives you a live view of every project in play and allows you to track against what's been planned. So whether you want to see actual hours logged versus what's been estimated, or look at value of work done so far against what's been quoted or invoiced, because you can decide which column appears in this list. It's all here, it's all live, and it's all up to date. So it means that you're not waiting for month-end reports to see if things are slipping. You can spot issues as they're happening and make adjustments while you still have time to do something about it. What's really handy as well is you can also switch this view to the billing view, and this is a forecast of your billings. So you're not just looking at how your job is performing in terms of hours and effort, you're actually looking now at what you're expecting or when you're expecting to recognise that revenue too. So you can see at a glance what's been scheduled for future months, where you've got gaps or spikes in your forecasts, and it gives you a much clearer picture of your cash flow and revenue timing so you can plan ahead with confidence. Okay, so once you've got a clear view of how your jobs are performing and what's in the pipeline, the next step is making sure that you've got the right resources in place to actually deliver it. And this is where I would use Synergist resourcing feature. Okay, so with the resource booking tool, we can easily allocate work across your team for confirmed projects. But what's especially useful is that you don't have to wait until deals are signed. You can also start create bookings against live opportunities in your pipeline, especially if you're confident that they're likely to land. You've also got flexibility in how to do this. So you could choose to use draft or tentative bookings to pencil in future work, which helps you spot capacity issues early and model different scenarios. So maybe you want to see what happens if you do win that big pitch, or how delays might free up availability elsewhere. And if we switch from the booking view to the loading view, then the system highlights where you're over and under capacity so you can start taking action, hopefully before those problems arise. What makes this even more powerful is that Synergist takes into account different utilisation rates for each team member. So if you've got somebody who's working part-time or their target utilisation is lower, then they'll be showing as fully booked once their personal threshold is met, rather than assuming everybody is working to the same capacity. So this means you've got a much more accurate view of your team's availability rather than just looking at generic hours. So it'll help you balance workloads properly, spot potential bottlenecks, and hopefully make smarter decisions about when to bring in freelancers or simply adjust timelines. We can also see this data visualized in the capacity dashboard. So if we look at perhaps what's happening next week, over the next 5 days, then you can now see how many hours are required rather than just seeing them visually, how many are booked, and therefore how many you have available. What's useful as well, though, it also takes into account any holidays or time off that's been booked into the calendar. So you're now getting a much more accurate picture of true availability, not just theoretical capacity, which means hopefully you can spot those pinch points earlier and adjust plans if needed. Okay, now we're going to move on and touch on one of the most common and costly challenges for agencies, which is profit leakage from overservicing. So it's something that can creep up on you and it has a huge impact on your margins over time. So we've all been there. You kick off a well-scoped project, it feels under control. As that work starts to pile up, you suddenly realize you're delivering way more than you priced for. Before you know it, the profit's gone. All of the time, a lot of the time, this comes down to the gap between what you've quoted the client and what's actually required to get the job done. So maybe the clients push back on price or sharpen the proposal to win the pitch, but you know deep down it's going to take more effort than what's been officially quoted. So this is where Synergist's flexibility really helps. It lets you track that internal view alongside the client-facing quote. So you've always got a clear picture of what it's really going to take to deliver. Now in Synergist, you can build and track at 2 separate levels. First is the internal estimate that you're looking at now, which is your real world view of what you expect the job to take. And then you've got the client-facing quote, which we'll look at in a second, which is what's agreed with the client commercially. So let's start with the estimate. So here I've got an example job. This job is creative strategy and concept. I've broken this job down into 3 components. We call them phases. So creative conceptualization, project direction, content direction. And the system allows me to budget how much time I think I will need on each different part or each different resource type within the project to deliver that part of the job. It also allows me to forecast purchase costs as well. So in phase 1, we might need some media. There's no hours, but there is a cost of £1,000. And in this case, a 20% markup. So ultimately, when I finish this, the system will give me an idea of how many hours we think we'll need to deliver the project, which is going to drive my capacity forecast, the internal cost to the agency, a recommended charge based on your agency rate card or the client rate card, and therefore, if it all went to plan, an idea of what the estimated net and gross profit would be. Now, if we move to the quote page, this is where I can start to make my commercial decisions. And my first decision might be around how we want to present this to your client or prospect. Do I want to copy across the estimate? Do I want to copy across tasks? Do we want to show that level of detail? Or are we going to go down a much more value proposition route? Where basically I can start to roll things up and say, well, I know you want creative conceptualization, and for that it's 20K. And I can add some narrative into my quote in terms of what that task involves, and that can be pre-typed in, or you can drop that in from a bank of standard paragraphs that are sat in the back end of the system. But ultimately, what I want to do is play around potentially with the commerciality and decide how much I'm going to charge for this piece of work. So even though my estimate recommended this was a 25, 26K job, I'm going to go in at 31 grand. One of the reasons that we might do that is because we track this concept of investment. An investment basically monitors and reports on your under-over recovery. So in this example, this job's for Diageo. The system will look at all previous jobs that we've delivered for Diageo. It will look at how much we've invoiced and compare it to how much we should have invoiced for the work we've delivered. So let's say we've done £100,000 worth of work, but we should have invoiced 110,000. Then we've under recovered by 10 grand. And that 10 grand sits in a little pot called investment, and it appears on the quote page. So hopefully the next job we do, I'm able to recoup some of that back on future projects. It'll kind of highlight who your vampire clients are. So which of your clients are taking up more of your time than they're paying for, and it gives you it in a pound note figure. Something else on the job that's useful for managing scope creep and spotting issues potentially with profitability is the dashboard. It's essentially a mini P&L for every single job. So if I was an AD, AM, client service team member, I could review my job and it gives me all the kind of key metrics we need to ensure that this job is on track. So whether that's invoice to quoted, whether it's actual to estimated hours, whether it's value of work to what we quoted, all of the key metrics are here, including profitability analysis. So hopefully if there's going to be an issue, we will spot it earlier and we'll have time to do something about it. Okay, but in order to get this data, what we need to do is capture time and making time capture nice and simple, but also to provide multiple options about how you can do that. So when it comes to recording time in Synergist, there are plenty of flexibility, but it depends on how you or your team like to work. So you might want to log time daily, or you can complete your timesheets at the end of the week, if that suits you better. You also, if you're using the calendar that we looked at before, there is the options to convert those calendar bookings directly into timesheets, which is a much quicker way of doing it. And for those who are perhaps out and about or just prefer to log time on the move, there's also the mobile app where you can record your time directly from your phone, or even use the built-in timer if you want to track tasks in real time. So it really depends on your role and how granular you need your time tracking to be. So whether you're logging against high-level projects or detailed tasks, Synergist makes it simple to capture the data you need in the way that works best for you. So while time recording feels like a bit of a routine task, we know it's actually one of the most valuable inputs you have. So basically every timesheet will feed straight into your live data, which giving you that immediate visibility on project progress, resource utilization, and also financial performance. But it's not just about capturing data, it's about turning that data into instant insight. So let's now move across to look at a few more of the dashboards. So the performance dashboard, this is your go-to for almost team level insight. So you'll see utilization versus chargeable targets, a full resource utilization summary, and importantly, chargeable value and hours against preset targets, giving you an instant view of how productive your teams are on a day-to-day basis. We've also got the management dashboard, which gives you that much bigger agency-wide perspective. In here, you'll find kind of full financial summary, including profitability, aged work in progress, who your top clients are based on profit or revenue contribution, so you know exactly where your value is coming from. You'll also see invoice forecasts and even your earnings per head, which for most agencies is one of the most critical metrics to keep an eye on. But whatever you're looking at, it's all live, visual, and ready to go. So whether you're making daily delivery decisions or much longer term strategic ones, you've got all the numbers you need right in front of you. Finally, I want to show you the data analytics dashboard. So this is perfect if you want to go a step further and create your own customized reports. This gives you full flexibility to build exactly what you need, so you can filter any data set, combine different data points, and create kind of non-standard reports that are very specific to your agency. So once you've created your reports, you can give them a name and you can pin them directly to your own dashboard so they're always at your fingertips. So no more hunting around for spreadsheets or waiting on manual reports. You get instant access to the numbers that matter most. So in the examples you can see on my dashboard, if I choose this one here, you can also choose to either have your report shown with the pure data in a table with multiple columns, or you can show it graphically, or you can have a combination of both. So to wrap things up, what we've looked at today with using Synergist, for me, it's all about control. So controlling your forecasts, controlling your resourcing, controlling your profitability, but most importantly, real-time control over your entire agency. So by connecting your data and giving your teams visibility, you can move from being much more kind of reactive to proactive, hopefully making faster, smarter decisions. So that brings us to the end of today's webinar, just a very kind of short, sharp view of some of the tools that you can use in Synergist. Hopefully that was useful. If you do have any questions or you do want to dive a bit deeper into how Synergist could help you or your agency, then do feel free to connect or reach out. Also, do check out our upcoming webinars and also all the resources on our YouTube channel for more insights. So thanks again for joining us. Hope you enjoy the rest of the week and hopefully see you again soon.